This is Indie 102.3. My name's Alisha Sweeney here in the Indie Lounge. I'm joined by Soak's Bridie Monds-Watson, who just released their third album, If I Never Know You Like This Again. It's an incredible record, and I'm so grateful to have you here today. Hi.
Thank you very much. Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome back to Colorado.
Thank you.
You've been in Colorado a handful of times over the years.
Yeah, I have. But only this time, maybe I'm just the age where I'm interested in like rodeos. But I only realized that this is like cowboy land yesterday. And my Google search history is incredible. It's like, where can we find a rodeo and bolo ties? And
yeah, did you go to Rockmount downtown?
not yet, but we genuinely, like, I want cowboy boots. It's my mission for today.
All right, Rockmount.
Okay.
Just so you know. Well, I'm looking forward to talking to you about the new album, and how we're going to do this is you and James will play some songs together and we'll talk in between them. And
Cool.
What's the first one you're going to do for us?
First song we're going to play is called Last July. Called up my bullshit, and in the same mouthful you decorated me in citrus beer. And spent, I couldn't help but choke to anything that I exaggerated. Won't always be like this, but the first 6 weeks made me feel from that I'm not a sentimentalist. How can I be in the moment when I'm dreading the end of it? Something about her you swore was elegant, self-assured, and you take the lace from under me, and you star in my extended daydreams. If now's not a good time, just bury me in last July. I laugh when everyone else does. I've never felt so illiterate. Sent this foreign place, I need to speak your language. Staring at like lemon sorry eyes. What if this is the last time I get sensationalized? Then when I've been every stereotype, I don't wanna become just another place that you went one time. And I don't wanna be a souvenir, and I don't wanna be a Polaroid. I wanna buy your groceries, I wanna tell you all my weird theories, and you'll take the lace from under me, and you'll curate all of my fever dreams. If there's never a good time, just bury me in last July. Let me know when you figure yourself out. Let me know when you figure yourself out. Let me know when you figure yourself out. That's fun.
Soak joining us in the Indie Lounge with the song Last July. Can you talk a little bit about where that song came from when you wrote it?
The song is about, well, I just met
my current girlfriend actually about 4 years ago, and she's Swiss, and we went to visit her home country, and I was like, well, this won't last, just because I think with most things I just presume they are going to end quite swiftly. It didn't, spoiler, but the song was about the idea of it potentially, not being able to fully immerse yourself in a moment because you're thinking about it being over, which is lame, but I do that quite a lot.
It makes a good song, too. For those that don't know your backstory, you've got a pretty incredible one. You're from Derry, Northern Ireland, and you still live there. And when you were a teenager, you basically became a full-time musician. The BBC started playing you and embracing you. And you've just been in the public eye for the last 10 years. You signed to Rough Trade Records. You've toured the world. Some fans have literally watched you grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
And others are just getting to know you now. How have you grown just since your second record came out, Grim Town?
Wow. So much. Honestly, I have been doing music for a longish time now, but I only feel like now I actually know what's what and what I'm doing and what I want to make, and it feels very much like the beginning, which is odd being on my third record now. But I think between my last record and this record, there's I've grown up so much, and I say that with every album, but it feels so significant, this kind of gap, just in terms of comfortability in myself and knowing what I want, and as a songwriter feeling I don't know, just confident in what I'm saying. I just feel like I've hit the nail on the head of who I am now, and I don't really have to worry about it too much when I'm writing and making things, which I think before took up a lot of brain space. So I feel like a drastically different person just through aging a couple of years,
Absolutely. I imagine the last couple of years that you wrote this album during the pandemic as I listened to it. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, it is. It's the sad truth.
So an album written from home, so it's all inspired by the things around you there?
Yeah, kind of. Well, it's interesting because I wrote it during the pandemic, but I was going to write it anyways. Mm-hmm. So I think it doesn't really reference the dark era, but I definitely made it quicker, maybe because I had nothing else to do.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Well, from Purgatory and Get Well Soon, Bleach, Guts, those are song titles on this new album. What was happening around you that inspired these songs?
I think a lot of it was, I kind of, just as I go about my life, I'm always collecting lines and song ideas and words and stuff like that. And when I sit down properly to write, I just make it all together and collage things. And so I think a lot of the songs were getting things from the past and bringing them. I'm really going to break all these things. I think a lot of it was just pulling together all these old stories and memories that had kind of happened for the preceding year. Yeah.
And this album, which you're going to play a couple more songs for us from it, it just, listening to it from Purgatory all the way to Swear Jar, it just is this great journey that you take us on. And with the beginning of Purgatory, you take a deep breath.
Yeah. At
that. Did you always know you wanted to have that?
I think I did it on accident when we were recording, and then I was like, actually, no, that, because I always knew it was going to be the first song in the album, and I was like, actually, because I have so much to say in the song, I felt like it should remain in the take. We did a couple of exaggerated ones properly to put on the track, but I think I just delved so much into criticism of myself as a person in that song, and because the album, I feel like I say so much that I have wanted to say for a while. It was okay, here we go. I'm gonna prepare myself for this album, and then you can listen to me talk all these things for a while. Just we kept it after that.
Yeah, I love it. Do you do it when you perform it?
I don't. Maybe I do. I don't intentionally, but I can imagine I probably do just anyways.
Yeah, because you're getting ready to perform. Well, you got two more for us. This next one is Bleach. Do you want to set it up?
I do. Yeah, Bleach. Bleach is about all my little feelings, and kind of similarly to Last July, about this kind of nothing good can last thing I have. And you'll hear that.
I've gotta get out of here, I can't escape my past here. I have the same conversation every lunch for weeks. It feels so good to be anonymously alive. I won't say yes all the time. I have nicknames that try when they notice I'm gone. I'm already watching rom-coms and drinking those tiny complimentary wines. I might just find myself on that red eye, a Catholic gratitude, rubbing shoulders with Hollywood. I'd be fueled by superfoods and menthol cigarettes. And in the diner when she asks if I'm American, I double down on my accent and she'll say she's Irish too. It's got a common claim, it's not quite the same thing. I'll be so homesick then I'll need to call my friends. I might just find myself on that red eye, or in the city of traffic jams and rich sycophants don't go. Please don't go. Please don't go. Please don't go. It's how you look at me, that's how I know. It's how you look at me, that's how I know. It's how you look at me, that's how I know. It's how you look at me, I'm coming home. I've gotta get out of here, I can't escape my past here. I have the same conversation every You're talking to me like I'm in office sweat jar. You must be saving up for Christmas, spilling out your frustrations like a fresher on the pavement. You look so alive when you're bitching about your life. I wish you had that much to say about me. The night's last call and it's starting to feel unlikely. The birds can't stand up through. You don't look at me like you used to. Conversations are a lottery now. Is there an inch still left in you? Where have I been all my life? Watching myself from the sidelines. Won't you wake me up sometime? Things only look the way you wanna see them. I can't stand it when you wake up optimistic. What does that say about me? I'm gone before you complete my diagnosis. Hell couldn't keep me up. I'm the last just be a cartoon with a missing sign for me right there. The bright's gonna stay with blue. You don't look at me like you used to. Am I just insincere enough? I know every single thing about you. But if this girl I'm in the swimming pool, then I'm gonna keep my t-shirt on. Don't stop playing favorites now. I've been your plan B for months and months. Where have I been all my life? Watching myself from the sidelines. Won't you wake me up sometime? Where have I been all my life? Watching myself from the sidelines. Won't you wake me up sometime? Where have I been all my life? Watching myself from the sidelines. Won't you wake me up sometime? Where have I been all my life? Watching myself from the sidelines. Won't you wake me up sometime? Where have I been all my life? Watching myself from the sidelines. Won't you wake me up sometime? Where have I been all my life? Watching myself from the sidelines. Won't you wake me up sometime?
It's Alisha Sweeney and also Bridie from Soak hanging out in the Indie Lounge. So we just heard a couple songs that that Bridie recorded with your longtime bandmate James. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's been your drummer
Forever.
forever.
Yeah.
we'll
And
just
my
say.
friend forever. Tommy, who plays in my band as well, also recorded the album. He's not here, unfortunately, but he has been with me for like 10 years. James has been with me for like 10 years. They're both legends.
Yeah,
I've been very lucky to have them.
that's incredible. You just played us the songs Bleach and also Red Eye. What do you want to share about Red Eye?
Red Eye is about kind of escapism, and there's a reference in the song to Cafe Gratitude in LA. Because when I first started coming to America for bits and pieces, obviously it's super exciting
Yeah,
to be a younger person and just going to America for the first time. But a lot of it was so like funny, like just comical kind of. And I'd never been that cafe. You have to order things from the menu by saying like, today I'm grateful or whatever. And that was just, I'm quite sarcastic and cynical anyways. And that to me was just the best and the worst. But also I can be really cynical about things like that. And then there's times where, you know, if you're not touring for a while, you're back home, you're like, oh, I'd just love to be at Cafe Gratitude right now, living that life, or in this place doing this thing, or it's kind of just collecting all those thoughts of wanting to be away and then knowing when you go somewhere you're going to want to be back where you started, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, you know, thinking about gratitude and then also knowing that, you know, you're one to take the piss out and everything as well. Like, what does self-care look like on the road for you? have you gotten there in your life yet? I know you're
Kind of. I mean, for me, like, just having like walks and stuff. Like, I do prioritize. I know I need time to like be alone. And like exercise for me helps anxiety and stuff like that. So I try to run or do things like that. Just have some element of routine. But other than that, I do a lot of writing, and I really like photography. So a lot of time I'll go for a long walk and I'll take the camera, and that's kind of a different kind of creativity that I can just like zone out when I do.
That's lovely. What's captured your eye recently with the lens?
Earlier on, it was the hotel that we were staying in with the weird water feature, which I keep calling Niagara Falls. Other than that, kind of people's faces. I was at a festival this weekend. We were playing, and I had some friends that were playing. I was like, can I just get a photo pass and take photos for you? And I like that. I think I struggle to stand still, like at shows and stuff, so it gives me a job. And I feel like, I don't know, have more fun that way.
Did people recognize you when you were taking?
Once or twice.
Yeah. I love
well, actually, my friend was playing drums, and her snare, there's something with the snare stand, is sort of collapsing, and nobody would come and help. So I ended up like on the stage for the full last song with a camera holding the stand for. It was interesting. I haven't experienced a gig like that before, so
Love that. Where were you?
it was fun. I was in England at a festival near Manchester.
Cool.
Yeah.
I know. I just asked that because you said it was a 27-hour travel day the other day.
It was long.
And you're in Colorado just for a quick little stop. I imagine there will be more tour time through Colorado and the United States later this year or next year.
I hope so, for sure. We would love to come back and do the full thing.
Right?
Yeah.
So would we. You came out as non-binary this year, and kind of as we all explore our gender spectrum and our place in it, I'm wondering how it impacted your new album. Did it? Or
I think, like, for me, I'd had those feelings for so long and never could really, I don't define them. Like, I was kind of, I've had those questions for a long time, and I could never really find the word or how to explain it. And I was kind of like subconscious, and like I've been out as gay since I was like 14 or 13, and that was never an issue to me. But everything else felt something a bit deeper. So something I've been avoiding for a while, and I think coming to terms with it and being open about it made it really easy then in my music to not have any limitations in how I was talking or what I was talking about, and that made this record really cathartic to write, because I could just I just wasn't worried anymore, or I don't know, it takes a lot of, you spend so much time thinking about it. It's such a waste of like brain time whenever you've got those things in your head. So it was nice just to like work it out.
I know that talking to listeners when we play your music and when we talk about your story, I know it's something that's important for our listeners and that visibility. Have you heard from your fans also? Have you gotten a lot of like messages and do you appreciate that, or is it overwhelming?
No, it's really cool. We did a tour at the start of the year that was just like a little acoustic thing for independent venues in the UK. And it was the first time we'd done shows in years after everything. And we got to speak to a lot of people who came to the shows afterwards. And I think after the pandemic being so weird and kind of not really knowing your purpose and stuff, that was incredible to speak to people and hear why they want to come to your shows or why they care about what you do. And that was a moment for me where I was really like reminded of what I want to be doing, you know. And I spoke to a lot of people, and they spoke about representation, and they were a lot of them were from smaller towns in Ireland and stuff, which it's less easy to be who you are, I think. And speaking to people like that who are my age and kind of seemed like, you know, we'd be friends if we bumped into each other in the street. It was cool to hear them, like to hear that what I'm doing and saying resonates with them. It's really, it gives you purpose, I think.
Absolutely. We got time for one more song, and this is a song that I know here in Colorado on our radio station we're all nuts about. You're going to perform Swear Jar, which is also the last song on the record. I don't know, set it up, tell us something about it. We love it.
Swear Jar is about like everything falling apart and kind of being cynical about things. It's like, I know relationships have their ups and downs, and I'm like when everything is good, it's the best thing in the world, and when everything's bad, it couldn't be worse, you know? Kind of extreme in my thinking sometimes, and Swear Jar is all those things mashed into one. Also, I think in my life, I'm really, like, I can be very non-present, you know? I can just kind of take a backseat and autopilot my way through things. And Swear Jar is just really summarizing those feelings of, like, when am I going to snap out of this feeling and return to life?
Yeah.
It's a bit existential.
Yeah, it feels good to listen to it. I'm excited for you guys to perform this Soak in the Indie Lounge. Woo!
I find your hairs in the weirdest of places. You should see the state of my face. Remember when we tried to color mine? I look like a leprechaun for weeks. Bleach. Did you spill the milk on purpose? Do I look good under your heels? After I left you at the airport, your voice was ringing through my ears. She's not gonna save you from yourself. Bleach. You're looking up at Mount Fuji and breathing on fast perfumes. And I don't know if I can do it. My friends say I'm only ever half in the room. And what if you fall in love overnight with some posh boy on a gap year? I can't compete with the anatomy. I'll never be the real deal. She's not gonna save me from myself. I drive late at night. I visit memories I like. You live in my rearview mirror, and you're waving all the time. I should be throwing rocks at your window, catching your keys, but I'm sleeping on your side of the bed. I'm losing color on your screen. Just getting used to my own company. When I found your smell on my clothes, tried to suppress the feelings. Best of you, compilation explodes.
Swear Jar from Soak in the Indie Lounge. We are Indie 102.3 from Colorado Public Radio. My name is Alisha Sweeney. Irish. as you can tell. But yeah. They used to, when my family lived in Ireland, it was Mick Sweeney.
Oh yeah.
But then
They
they
took
wanted
away
the Mick to sound really American when they moved here.
too much McDonald's vibe.
And this is Bridie joining us of Soak. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your songs and your humor
Thank you.
and all the things with us today.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me as well. It's really cool to be here.
Thank you. The new album, If I Never Knew You Like This Again, is out now on Rough Trade Records. It's Indie 1023.